And what, just a month later, she seemed to have a very different perspective on her arrest and her relationship with Jodi Hildebrandt.
I really did feel like the arrest was like a rescue. Like I just felt so many angels around, and it was like a relief. It was just really kind of surreal, kind of strange.
In December, Franke said being away from Hildebrandt cleared a lot of things up for her. She branded Hildebrandt as mentally ill when finding out that she pled guilty on multiple child abuse charges.
Yeah, it's a big relief. It's a big relief. There would have been positive the other way too had she not pled guilty. There's enough evidence that she could have been convicted for life, but that would have been messy. I don't think she's going to give them her history, but I think in the interview it's going to be apparent that she's mentally ill.
From misunderstood to mentally ill, Franke had quite the change in perspective. Joining me now is Eric Clarke. This is the prosecutor for Washington County in Utah who helped secure these guilty verdicts. First, let me just say thank you. Great work on getting this done, putting these two monsters behind bars. I'm not afraid to say it. I got to ask you, though, about this. I mean, I could talk all day about the evidence release, and clearly after the release of this information, it would have been very, very strong evidence at trial. But what do you make of the 180 that Ruby Franke seemingly did regarding her perspective on her case and Jodi Hildebrandt's case?
Well, thanks, Jesse, for having me on tonight. I think that Ruby found herself, and you know, we don't know everything. We can't climb into her head.
Sure.
But all of our evidence points to, and her jailhouse calls, as you played, show. I think when she went into jail, she was basically like a religious devotee of Jodi. She was going to do and say whatever Jodi wanted, and once she was away from that, and frankly started seeing what she had done rather than living in what she was doing. Like it was about 6 weeks, and we saw her go from I didn't do anything wrong, the kids being hospitalized is just like the government manipulating the story to try to exaggerate things, to what we saw, which was I can't believe I did this. I'm so sorry.
By the way, so in a way, it's like you're saying she got out of that fog that she was in. But you said, I remember at sentencing, it's very different when it comes to Jodi Hildebrandt, because she never admitted what she did. And even in her jailhouse phone calls, which you referenced at sentencing, this is why you believe she may get longer time in prison, because she's never accepted and she's always denied what she did, even calling herself the victim.
100%. 100%. Jodi has never indicated to anybody that she ever did anything wrong. And that's crazy when you look at the videos, right?
No, it is. It is. And that's one of the most shocking things about it. I'm glad that there was the release of this information so we could all see it. But we also, while I have the minute with you, I want to ask you about Kevin Franke. Never been charged in this case, never been implicated, never a suspect. This is number 4. This is his interrogation when he was first brought in when his wife was arrested, I believe, on August 30th. Let's take a look. Number 4.
What's going to happen? It's my wife. I love my wife. But I love my wife and I trust my wife. And so, I mean, this feels like getting run over by a steam truck while you're sharing with me today.
Okay, so Eric, when he first went in, almost couldn't believe what was happening, defensive in a way, in his initial call with Ruby Franke on that jailhouse call, he said he was going to be with her and be committed to her. He did a 180.
Yeah. And Kevin's one of many victims of Jodi that we've seen through this, where people are just doing completely unreasonable things, right? Like he was convinced by his therapist to leave his family for a year.
Yep.
And so what we see in the 2 interrogation videos that we released, we see Kevin who's coming in, who basically, well, not basically, our understanding is that his only contact from July 2022
Yeah.
to August 2023 was only with Jodi.
Yeah,
Only talking
because
Jodi.
and it was fascinating to hear that, where he was defending her, but then said she isolated him, and he left the house because that was Ruby's suggestion. Look, I followed this. For me, my opinion, it seems that Kevin was somebody. When you talk about allegations of him being manipulated, there seems to be credence to that, and he was just trying to do what he needed to do to protect his family. But again, there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Eric Clarke, again, thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.